Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that off the screen. We do have quite a surprise for everybody here. Sorry for the little bit of a late intro there, but this is the Method PoEsport's news update. And let me tell you, I was in for a bit of a surprise this morning. I didn't really want to do this one last night. You know, pushing on level 97 to 100, it's pretty much all the same thing from here on out. You're pretty much in the same map with mostly the same gear, and so I was thinking, like, what if we did it just every 24 hours? But boy, was I in for a surprise at 4 a.m. this morning. So let's go over the team standings as of right now. We have the Avengers in first place still. Regardless of Ty 23's death, he's re-rolled, bounced back. He's level 80, farming up some currency, maybe some items. Not quite sure, but he is running that Winter on a tabula. Not quite sure why. I don't think we'll see the respec from Ty 23. Camille not leveling up at all, still just farming that currency recipe for the team, being very supportive. Gucci has reached level 96 now, and it does appear like they're delving sideways and not down, and so they won't be fighting cities quite as much as another team, but we'll wait for that. The strategy revolves around the Shaped Toxic Sewer. Interestingly enough, I see Crying in Shaped Villa like all the time. He's in this map pretty much half the time, it feels like. And if he's not in that map, he's in Chateau and Wharf. I'm not quite sure what their tier 14 is. I can't remember. I couldn't quite catch that, but I do know that they also reside within Elder Underground Seas. Not much of the gear has changed, but let's go on to Monkey Squad here. Now, Monkey Squad is really just being held down by the core of the team, Rathalos, the God carry at level 98 here, playing solo as Isla Righteous Fire. I don't believe Ventura leveled up a new character at all. Heshla hasn't leveled up at all, and so if he is using that chaos recipe, that would be very nice for Rathalos. Just put on that, he would be able to put on the bloodlines onto every pack or every map or the Beyond, but Isla Righteous Fire famously isn't very good at Beyond and clearing up the Beyond. So looking at Leaf here, he did reach a new level at 95. Their map tiers, I'm not quite sure what they're sustaining, but again, they might just be within those Elder Toxic Sewers. Not too much of an update here, other than Rathalos is now on a 6 link instead of a 5 link, and we will take a look at his new chess piece in a minute. That should say number 3 there, but Method definitely in 3rd place. The progression, I'm not even sure where this leaves Nugian at, as Zizaran died from level 98, leaving the team in distraught, as the only remaining member alive is Nugi, Havoc, and Steel, which is good, but you have to remember that Nugi is 3 levels behind where Zizaran even died from, and so now Nugian has to catch back up. It will be interesting to see if Havoc616 does manage to get that support bot up and running. Have I done all these overlays? Most of them were done by my good friend Rain Dog, but he is unavailable at the moment as he is at work, and so I think that's Rain Snacks here. Yeah, it does seem like he is going Winter Orb here. No, I'm really just benefiting off the work of my friend here. Just updated the overlays myself. There's not much to it on my part, really. We do have Nugian apparently on Winter Orb. That's my bad. Every video does get uploaded to YouTube. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Method here. With Method, we do still have Nugian alive, and so it's really up to Nugi here to push super safely. I mean, there's no reason to put himself at risk at all. They have Team Avengers pretty much locking in that 1st or 2nd place. They have Team Rathalos, which is going for that 2nd or even 1st place. Team Rathalos, well, Team Monkey Squad, but definitely pushing up there. But there is still the chance that Rathalos dies, and then it's up to Heshla, let's see. It is up to Heshla. I guess Leaf could be an alternative. So all of Method's eggs are in the basket of Nugian. It is his time to shine and reach that level 100, hopefully very safely. We do know that he is running on Elder Underground Seas at some point with Shaped Moon Temple, and hopefully it doesn't continue to keep going down further. Even though you find more temples and more, well, not temples, they are Vol cities and Abyssal cities and the blue ones, which I never could find, but that's regardless to the point. You do find a lot more of those as you start to delve deeper and deeper, but monster levels like flatten out to be tier 16, and so we might just see them stop pushing altogether and focus more on just getting the XP there. So here they do unlock most of the red tier maps with the Shaped Moon Temple and the Elder Underground Seas for the reason that they do believe that they can sustain it. I didn't want to include that they complete all of their like tier 11s through 14s as I'm not 100% certain on that map strategy there. But as far as Zizaran's strategy revolved, it was tiers 11 and 12, or everything from tier 1 to 12 pretty much completed. Tier 13 was a specific map. Tier 14 was, I think, Waste Pools. It's still a Tier 14. And then, obviously, the Shaped Moon Temple, the Elder Underground Seas. The Tier 13, I think you might have completed multiple Tier 13s. But Zizaran did rip earlier this morning, about an hour ago, so we will be looking at that clip afterwards. Tier 13 Toxic Sewers. Alright, thank you, Rain Snacks. Going on to Team 4 here, I mean, I almost consider them not putting them in tier 4, but it does seem like I'm looking at a pretty blank screen here. Well, not quite. I did forget to put the little skull under Rise QT and Wago here, but they did unfortunately rip as well. That was a few hours earlier. We do have Carve at level 8 and Garoth at level 2. Not quite sure. Well, actually, no. I'm definitely sure that they will not be, going again, as Rice QT did not look very happy throughout the push, and then he did look fairly relieved upon the time of his death. They were running that shaped wharf with the Elder Underground Seas, of course. Definitely just a super good strategy. Unfortunately, though, there's not much left for Team Dotamight here. So we will hopefully see them in the next race, if there is one. Other than that, I don't have too much to say about these clips here. We did see Team Method employ a little bit of a riskier strategy with Team Dotamight right on their heel, but I mean, I can't even really call it risky. You're pretty much just stuck into those tier 16s to hopefully compete for the experience with the other top two teams. So will be interesting to see if Nugian can lock in that second or third place. The race isn't quite over yet, but we're starting to reach the finish line. Wago just ran it down. Alright, relieved is exactly how Rise QT felt. So first of all, we'll go into the Rise QT rip. We have it right here.
I went bye-bye. Nah, this was fucked anyway. Sorry, guys.
Damn.
Yeah.
What got you?
You can see that this is a minus max map with the two
I
unique
went
bosses.
bye-bye.
The only really scary thing here, in my opinion, I mean, you can argue the 10% extra damage taken as cold due to the Sextant. Let me see if I can find it. Should be, yeah, players and monsters take 10% increased cold damage.
I
You know,
went
it's really
bye-bye.
not the worst or the scariest
Nah, this was fucked anyway.
of modifiers from your Sextant, as he is getting those extra cold damage mobs, but it really is just the minus max and a little bit of delay here on his logout, but there's really not too much to say about this. Yeah, he also didn't have a support. A lot of Team Dotamight that I noticed, they didn't have a lot of the team synergy that Team Avengers definitely has. So Team Avengers, everybody's pretty much awake at the same time. Even when Ty 23 died, I think he only took a power nap and then got straight back on because the rest of his team was there. Even though he probably doesn't want to, but we can't say the same about Team Dotamight. Even like Carve dying, it's time for him to go to sleep. Rice QT needs to keep playing, but everybody else, it's okay to go to sleep. But yeah, I mean, imagine just being the support, waking up and seeing that your carry has died in your race and everybody else is gone. So I mean, it's really just a troublesome time. Really, can't see
I
oh
went bye
shit,
bye.
that little smile right there.
Yeah, nah, this was fucked.
I expect to see some sort of public claim here by Rise QT, but yeah, that is what I mentioned earlier. Camille, is that Tie 23 is most likely going that 6 link Winter Orb on the Tabula just to reroll into the Aura bot, just to help out Crying during his 90-hour push. All right, looking on to the next clip here, we do have the Zizaran rip
I mean,
as
they were
well,
talking, they were chit-chatting. I was like, okay, they don't care about me.
and this clip just makes me happy because it's like, oh, this is what gets him. Oh, this is it.
Most new
This is the
gaming
one.
done ever.
But yeah, I'll just let it play through. And he got smacked.
Oh, I got one hit.
You can see the Ink AoE, the crit.
Oh my fucking god.
I mean, they were talking, they were chit-chatting. I was like, okay.
Definitely an unfortunate rip here. I mean, just the whole clip. I mean, I guess starting from like here I go, does he get like stun locked and hit by lightning storm? No. I thought this would definitely be the rip here with the lightning boys popping out. I went, Ziz, no! And I did not expect to see him just get absolutely smacked there, but sometimes it happens. So he does look a little defeated, also a little bit relieved, maybe not quite as much as Rice QT. Yeah, I would argue that Rice QT did play fairly selfishly. I mean, I don't want to say that I just believe every source that I see on the internet, but there was a comment on Reddit that I saw, and it was saying that Rice QT was a little bit of a jerk and at times a little memey for the stream, not really playing for the team that well. But I can't go into specifics as I wasn't quite there. But yeah, Double Beyond T16 just super dangerous without the support character. I mean, I don't want to say like, what are you doing? But I mean, it's just a super dangerous thing to do in hardcore, and I really wouldn't recommend for other people to do it. All right, disregarding, with the rips in mind and the leaderboard looking fairly empty, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Right here we have Team Avengers. I can bring up the XP graphs. We have Rathalos as well. So you can see the green here is Crying, and the blue is Rathalos. So it does seem like Rathalos did sleep for about 3 to 4 hours here, maybe even 5 if he's lucky. With this previous one being about I think it was 4 hours as well. See, Crying's just, I mean, he had a little dip here. Maybe he took a little power nap. I do think that he should probably get at least like an hour or so of sleep, just to refresh himself. Does seem like he's going for that level 99 here, but why doesn't Havoc support this? I'm not sure. I mean, Havoc does have the support character, as we've mentioned in not only this one, but also the previous, I believe, 2 podcasts, the news updates. I mean, it's a little questionable, but I'm sure they have their reasons for it. Yeah, you can see here Crying just getting ever so more and more tired, but Rathalos definitely pushing up with that extra rejuvenation from his sleep. Looking at some of the gear here, I mean, I can look at Nugian as well, but oh, he is still pushing. He is at 42 million XP, so it does seem like he just came off of a nap here, and so he is going to be pushing up into those high XPs, but it's not quite the same. Obviously, you can see here that Nugian's XP per hour is like double that of pretty much the other two, a little bit more than double Crying's. But as he is level 96, he does get substantially more experience than the other two do. And so once Nugian hits that level 98 level, wouldn't be too surprised if it starts to fall back down. But overall, it should be, I don't want to say an easy 3rd place, but a potential 3rd place for Method. Definitely no rank 1 or 2 spots unless the other 2 teams do decide to run it down for whatever reason. It does seem like they will be reaching that level 99 here in you know, by the time we do the next one, even if crying does go to sleep. And then the same can be said about Nugian here. Most likely will be 98 by the next time around. Havoc was unable to keep up with Ziz's speed. That's a potential reasoning, but I'm not quite sure if that's the most logical one. Looking at Rathalos here, let me make sure I've got the right characters. Yes, we can bring up Crying as well, but not much has changed in the gear department. Crying isn't sleeping till 100. I mean, I think it's just too dangerous if he doesn't at least sleep for another half an hour in like maybe a few hours. That's what I would recommend, but it's not my team, so you can see here that Rathalos has upgraded his scepter. He's got this juicy damage penetrates fire res scepter with the craft on there, the socketed spells when or trigger a socketed spell when you use a skill. Definitely just for the blade vortex. This is just to keep up elemental equilibrium, or to proc it really, and to have elemental overload without even using shield charge. Definitely a nice setup here, but as he does not have fortify, it does make him a little susceptible to damage. But speaking of being susceptible to damage, he has upgraded his 6 link, or rather his chest piece, to a 6 link. Upgraded by about 100 energy shield here. Definitely a super nice pickup. He does have the Swift Affliction and Arcane Surge tag here, so this is one of the best 5 links to put in, but you cannot use Swift Affliction if it doesn't have a duration tag, and so you have to put in Arcane Surge to add that little duration, and it does make Swift Affliction affect the Righteous Fire here. The rest of the gear is pretty much the exact same. He's got that Blasphemy, Flammability, and Despair support set up there. He's got the cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, the level 20 Flame Dash with no quality. He does have the 2020 Phase Run with the level 3 Enhance. Would be interesting to see if they ball the Enhance again with the increased duration. The reason why Rathalos won't level this increased duration up is because he does not have the strength requirement to level it up to 20. But I think it would be smarter to level this increased duration up to level 20, GCP it down to level 1 with 20% quality, and then level it up to level 19 again, but maybe that is a little redundant there. Can't look at the belt here, you can tell that he's got a new enchant, or not an enchant, but a rather new implicit with the increased area of effect. Definitely a lot better than the extra plus 20 energy shield that it was providing, as chain belt is a fairly low value base type. Definitely still using that baited breath for the defensives here. When I use Bisco's leash, I could tell the difference with baited breath. It's definitely at least like 500 energy shield for him at this point between the baited breath and the Bisco, so I definitely agree with the baited breath, especially considering that all Rathalos has to do is just really play it slow. It does seem like Team Avengers in the chat member Camille is saying that both Gucci, but primarily Camille, is playing that very backline support, very important, crucial role for the team, crafting gear for primarily Crying and for Ty as well, getting him up so that he can be that supportive character that Crying really needs in the higher tier double beyond maps. And so it will be nice to see him once again on the the top 5. With Gucci pushing those delves, just going further and further to the left and right. Obviously super nice. The team basically just needs to play super consistently, and they should have it in the bag. Looking at the passive tree here for Rathalos, not much has changed. Just a few nodes for energy shield, to show it for, although it does look like he picked up this jewel socket in the top left for some more ES and movement speed, so definitely super nice. Going on to the next character here, we do have Havoc 616. I just wanted to bring up the fact that he is a support and that he can be supported Nugian, as it stated earlier that he is, which I think is the right call for team method. Going on to Nugian, we do have quite a lot of gear changes here. We have a new scepter with some added cold damage. We have, I believe this is the same shield and the same helm. Most of this gear is the same, but you can tell that he has the Warlord's mark on hit ring, with the bubonic trail with that gem in there. Do believe that's recent, and he also does have that 16% attack and cast speed here on the boots. They are teaming up as we speak. I believe the belt here is the same, but this one I don't remember seeing. But definitely the chest piece is new. 151 life, most likely fossil crafted as Nugian has been going down into those delves, possibly getting quite a lot of fossils for crafting. Little interesting that they didn't really throw like a ton of the really amazing gear onto to Zizaran earlier, but obviously it's a little bit too old now. I don't know if this is Zizaran's really old one. I mean, all I know is this is a really not high life chess piece. You can see he's got the level 21 Stormbrand, but if I refresh it, might be changing to Winter Orb. There it is, level 21 Winter Orb. The infused channeling, increased critical strikes, increased duration, GMP, and hypothermia right there. Yeah, this does appear to be Zizaran's old chess piece before he went on to Loreweave, and he is switching out some of his gear, as you can see, with the Zeal's Amplifier, going for the increased area effect as we speak. The ring remains the same, but not quite sure what he's doing with the amulet there. It might just be that he needs the some strength or dex requirement that he's not quite fulfilling at the moment. I need to check something on his tree. He is not Chaos Inoculation, so he is running 5 offensive flasks with no life flask. I mean, that's just super risky running into these things without an instant life flask of some kind. I definitely think this is the wrong call here, in my opinion. But the only reason why you would run 5 offensive flasks like this is if you are Chaos Inoculation, so that you just have to focus on your energy shield. But it does appear like, obviously he's still life. He's going for the respec here. And it does appear, or at least from what chat is saying, does seem like he is grouping up with that as support. Havoc 616, definitely going to be a very good combo there. Going on to the next one here, Ty 23. High skill, thank you. Ty 23 here, just using a lot of starter gear. Some pretty good stuff here. I believe this is Crying's old wand. The Herald of Thunder, Curse on Hit, Warlord's Mark. Really just leveling up that Elementalist so that he can respec into the Curse support. Level 2020 Winter Orb. Definitely a super nice pickup there. And he is running Item Rarity, which is an interesting pickup. Obviously, just for the extra uniques, the extra rares, definitely makes it much easier for Camille to put out those Chaos recipes so much faster with the additional rings, belts, and amulets as well. It's a super nice support overall, and I think on League Start, as an aside, it is a super nice 6 link, provided that you're one-shotting most of the monsters, or rather dispatching with them quickly. And so I think this is a fairly underrated support, and more people should use it, but that's just my opinion. Going on to the amulet here, you can see that we have percent energy shield, almost at 20%, quite a bit of life and fire res to boot. This other ring, actually very nice. I do believe he is primarily focusing on a little bit of energy shield. He does have the life and cast speed here. I believe this is an old ring. I think Crying was using this exact same one earlier, yesterday, I believe. So it does look very familiar. Doesn't increase the mana cost, I see. And then he is running the Sedima's Touch, obviously, just to get that extra quantity for the group. Definitely super nice. He is running the item rarity on the Herald of Ice Innervate Ice Bite setup, so he does have that silver flask there. We have the Pirandus Blazon here with the increased quantity as well. Hopefully he stays relatively safe, but it does seem like he's in some lower tier maps. But we can see the cast when damage taken Immortal Call setup here with increased duration and phase run. And if I look at the tree, it should be the stock standard Winter Orb setup, ready to respec soon. So the maps that Camille are running are just primarily in the bottom right quadrant, as far as I could tell. Really just staying in those tiers 1 through 4, not focusing too much on going into the higher tiers, as there is no difference in raw currency between those lower tiers and tier 16s. The only benefit to running the tier 16s really is you get a few more uniques, as some require a high base level, you get access to red maps, which sell for value to other players, and obviously have value. You have access to more experience. So he is here saying that he's running Strand, Channel, Underground Seas, and Graveyard. Definitely the best maps there. Uh, not quite sure about the Strand tech, but definitely Channel getting those humility cards. Uh, definitely for oh, Strand is for the div card. Oh yeah, it does drop a new one. I remember because I was running Strand and it dropped some one of the new div cards, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Or if it wasn't new, it was just some random div card that dropped. Beachhead, yeah, that's right, the tier 15 Beachhead. Definitely a super nice card overall. Fairly cheap on a trade league as well, since not many people know about it. All right, thank you for that, Camille. Yeah, and so channel obviously for the humilities, farming up the extra tabulas, getting those extra divine orbs, super nice for re-rolling gear, that sort of thing. Underground seas obviously for the alchemies, maybe if they want to go for a lore weave, but that's somewhat unlikely. And then graveyard so that they can vol it and then get some fragments for some extra juice on their maps, since they do go for those Zana modifiers. It does get quite expensive to vol your maps. And so instead of voling their tier 16s and putting Beyond on every single one, they do just kind of put Beyond on their higher tier maps or Bloodlines, since Camille is dishing out quite a lot of currency here. And we could take a look at some of the other members here. Let's see if Camille has his private or profile on public. Should be right here. So we do have a level 90. Oh, he's 91 now. Well, that's fairly recent. The Winter Orb with the item rarity, the Ice Bite, the GMP, and the Infused Channeling. Pretty stock standard there. You can tell that the gear is, it's not quite budget. I wouldn't call it scuffed by any means, but it definitely looks pretty hand-me-down, which is all you need and all you want in these sort of races. Do have the Flame Dash set up here. We have the Landing Spire Trap on a 3-link instead of the 4-link, and that might just be because, well, let's see what he uses in his boots. We have again that Herald of Ice item rarity there. We have the cast of damage taken Immortal Call War Banner. I'm not quite sure what the added lightning is doing in the helmet. And then in the boots, again, we have the Herald of Thunder, Curse on Hit, Warlord's Mark that we see so prevalent in this race. With the instant, the Seething Hollowed Life Flask of Staunching, the Granite Flask of Staunching as well, the Experimenter's Jade Flask of Heat, we have the Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, just super nice overall, and the Sulfur Flask of Warding, and I'll guarantee you that the tree looks fairly stock standard. And so you can see here, yep, just the basic Winter Orb, going Dark Arts, the Scion Life Wheel a little bit with the duration. I do have confirmation that he does weapon swap to the Rampage Axe for Rampage, as if you didn't know, if you equip an item with the Rampage tag and then switch the item, you still retain your Rampage. I'm not quite sure how good it is, since you are stopping quite often to loot and everything, but it should be up throughout most of the map, since it isn't taking that much time to loot. Yeah, we were yeah, Raindog was saying that exact same thing. He was wondering why Zizaran is using these well, let's just bring them up, the endurance charge gloves, when most likely he can get some better gloves from some fossil crafting. Well, it does appear like his character is a new one here. Let's see what level he's at. It's so hard to find characters when they have so many. This is one of the reasons why I commonly go back and delete a lot. He is level 33 now, definitely trying to bounce back. Kind of admirable to see him try to push up again, get some currency for hopefully Nugian. See if there's anything there. We do have Haruka at level 95 here from Bog Danoth. But again, as I stated before in a couple of the previous ones, I would love to put them up on the the presentation or the podcast, the newscast, sorry, but they all have their profiles on private, and none of them stream, and so I can't really get any information on them. At least with Rathalos, he's a known racer. you know, you can do slash who is, and he is one of those top contenders throughout most of the race. So it is fairly easy to see here. We do have Gucci laughing here. Can we get any comments on as far as progression so far? It does seem like a top contender. It does seem like Crying is either taking a little bit of a power nap here, or his XP is just dropping a little bit. But if there's any other characters that I really need to go through, I don't think so. Some gamer for life. So he's pulling a Rise QT. I got you. Well, very specific Rise QT. I don't think there's anything else to really go over. I guess we can go over the character Gucci right now, but the gear hasn't changed too much from when we last checked it. So we can just check it out really quick. Again, using that Herald of Ice with Assassin's Mark for the power charges. Super nice for the damages. Still using Stormbrand, level 21 of course. Let's see, he has not vaulted his brand recall at all for the level 7 potentially, but Winter Orbs are on their way to being that 2120 hopefully. We do have the Lightning Spire trap set up here. Still just using a very nice high life belt. The Blood Rage, cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, and the Blood Rage is primarily just for the frenzy charges here. A little interesting to see that he doesn't opt for a +2 unset ring here, but you know, when gear is mostly being passed on to Crying, it is a little difficult to you know, get gear such as that, and it's also very difficult to you know, focus farm some very important rings or some nice rings to have when you're focusing on the unID'd chaos recipe. Looking at the tree here, it's just the stock standard Stormbrand Inquisitor going, well, the crit? Can't quite tell. So it is crit, but he's not going Shaman's Dominion, most likely because he already does enough damage in those delves. Super nice build. Definitely well played by the Avengers. The amount of practice that they've put in is definitely showing compared to the other teams. And so if there are no other questions, then that's going to be it for this one, the newscast number 6. I'll see you all in another 12 hours here, and hopefully, hopefully we can just see these XP bars rise. So that'll be it for this one. I'll see you all in 12 hours. Bye!